What's going on, everyone? Badger here. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into this one because it is a doozy. If you watched the last video where we covered Chris Gore and his film threat, they got a letter from the WGA, one of their writers, anonymous, of course, a white writer, detailing just basically everything that has been happening, all the reasons why everything, the decline, of writing, the race, gender swapping, sexuality swapping, the pushing of agenda, and the message over story and character. It was a smoking gun. I told you more were probably going to come out because they put an open, like, email us, call us, let us know, and someone's let them know. Another WGA writer, and when you hear what he has to say, I was hoping this was another article. Unfortunately, if you missed the nooner this morning with Gary from Nerdrotic and Chris Gore, this was yet another bombshell. He's reading from a letter here, an anonymous letter from a WGA writer, and I'm not going to play this whole thing. Obviously, I just want to play this one little part, and then obviously the title. If you read it, that is something they say. I'm going to play that part. But here we go. This is Chris Gore from Film Threat. He's on the Nooner with Gary from Nerdrotic, and they are reading this anonymous letter from a WGA writer.
Reporting on this. But here's what it says, and it's from WGA Anon. I am a WGA member and wish to be anonymous. My email isn't real, and I don't want to accidentally give up an IP address and end up on a modern blacklist. I have a few stories that illustrate the hostility to non-diverse writers that may be of interest. Number one, writers hired on comic book shows are told it's a positive that they are unfamiliar with the original comic book and not a fan of the existing IP because they want to do a quote modern take on the material relevant to today.
I just want to say that we first heard about that with Marvel. Kevin Feige run Marvel and Disney run Marvel, that they did not want writers that knew the source material. We kept getting angry. Why aren't they following the source material? And they are actively hiring people that do not know the source material, not because they want to go in a new direction. It's because they don't want people that know what they're talking about. They don't want anyone to be able to challenge when they do this dumb shit and switch established storylines and characters for their messaging.
Number two, writers are, yeah.
So boom, one of the things, that's why Gary's laughing like that. One of the things we've been saying, fucking confirmed right here.
Number two, writers are asked, A, why this story today? How is it relevant politically today to the existing narrative they're pushing on our culture? And B, why are you the person to tell it? And then, quote, because I have talent and wrote it is not a valid answer. What is a valid answer is, quote, because I'm a member of this aggrieved group or class and only we can tell our own story.
Right. Because now, perfect face, Gary, now you are not allowed to have an opinion or tell a story about anything unless you belong to that group. That's nice. That doesn't sound racist at all.
Okay. Number three, this leads.
And who gets to decide? So if I'm half white and half black, can I tell a black story? Or because I'm white, does that invalidate me? Interesting question. Probably shouldn't even try to answer those questions. You should just let people write shit, and if it's good, it's good.
To a heads we win, tails you lose game, where if you don't include diverse characters, you're dinged for having an all-white, non-diverse cast, regardless of the time or place of the story or historical accuracy. And if you have a diverse class, race, gender, then you are guilty of cultural appropriation. This means that you are, for example, African American. You are not allowed to tell a story about an African American character or disabled or LGBTQ unless you are that specific subgroup. You can't write it.
And this is why they have that survey that they say is optional, that it's not, where they want to know your ethnicity and your sexuality. So if they get a script and they see that it's a movie about black people who are gay, and they look and they see that the writer is neither black nor gay, boom, you don't get your movie made.
Number four, there's a bias toward the twofer or threefer hire. Being gay, for example, isn't enough now. You have to be gay, African American, Latinx, undocumented, unhoused, differently abled.
Then unhoused. Jesus.
Yeah, seriously. Then on the D.
Differently abled. I heard George Carlin was doing bits about this, about soft language, differently abled. Oh.
EI scorecard, they have a 2-time or 3-time positive score for the hire. To give you an idea of how competitive things are, for only Murders in the Building, there was a word there was word a staff position was available. This is the lowest rung writing position. They have received 450 scripts as writing samples for this one job. Manager told me these jobs would typically go to a BIPOC writer, but the show decided not to hire anyone or to go in another direction. And then here is the big thing. There's a second part to this letter, but let me end with this part. This is what we have to talk about, Gary. Number 6, final point of the first part. The WGA has a diversity program where the guild pays for the diversity hires salary. Most of these writers aren't picked up after the quote free ride expires. Many of these writers hired only for diversity purposes feel obligated to push stories that reflect the specific box they checked.
That's a fucking bombshell. It's everything we have been saying. They hire unqualified people. They hire unqualified people specifically because of their skin color and their sexuality. And then those unqualified people who were hired only for their sexuality or their skin color then write things that only push things, shockingly enough, whether they feel like they need to or not, that pertain to their skin color and their sexuality. And it's boring. Cue the as rant. It's fucking boring. It's narcissism. We don't care about your skin color or your sexuality. Make it interesting, but they can't. And guess what? They're not even actual writers. They're paid. They're subsidized by the WGA. They're plants. Holy of all the shits.
So a transgender writer will be pitching stories exclusively about that experience. Now, I'm in favor of diversity in general, especially for stories where it makes sense. There was a notable show about the deaf community that amazingly didn't have a single deaf writer on the writing staff. Instead, they relied on consultants.
Yeah, clearly he's talking about Echo, which, by the way, remember he just said they stack? It wasn't enough that she was Native American and deaf. She also was missing a leg, and I guarantee you they were going to give her an ambiguous sexuality. I, along with Ryan from RK Outpost, I agree she's asexual. I don't think she has anything, but that's the point. It's not just enough to be a black man. That's a black man is the same as a straight man right now. And in fact, it's not even enough to be a gay man. Gay is just to say you need multiple on their oppression ladder, their oppression Olympics. You need multiple now to qualify. And just hearing it being said. Remember, this isn't crazy crackpot theories. These are now verified behind the scenes of actual WGA writers. They have given at least Chris Gore and Alan Ng their actual identities and credits. All right. People are coming out of the woodwork. This is the real deal. And it's everything we've been saying. It's all, guess what? Yet another case of we were right. Unfortunately, we were all right.
That likely reduced the authenticity and they lost out on many unique deaf stories. This was shown by the recent excellent film Coda. We want original, authentic, and diverse stories, but they can't just check boxes. They must tell a story about a protagonist that overcomes obstacles, pursues goals, internal and external, and has an arc to growth. Having people who aren't fans of the IP, Star Wars comic books, results in a product that has no respect to the existing fans. Then when fans...
Welcome to the entire Star Wars story group. And why did they destroy all the legacy characters? Because of what he just said. No one gave a shit. They don't even respect the properties they're working on.
Fans complain they are insulted as toxic. What company would make product that insults the consumers of the product? It's insane. So
Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, all of them. It's all Disney now. Now they go on the talk for a little bit. This is the big one. You saw the title. I'm not going to bury the lead. That was all very important. And here it is. Here's where they talk about it. Let's go.
And historically victims of mistreatment and genocide.
The lead up to this is they consider Jewish people not to be ethnic minorities. They consider them just like white people. And then that's the start of this.
Mantra is, and this is a quote. This is what people in the industry are saying. Male and pale is stale.
Whoa!
Let's do it one more time. Let's do it with full
also
context.
Not being discussed. This is the continuing on with this letter, as is the anti-Semitism behind much of the push to diversity. Jews are classified as quote whites and thus not a minority, despite being 2% of the world's population and historically victims of mistreatment and genocide. The mantra is, and this is a quote, this is what people in the industry are saying: male and pale is stale.
Whoa! Is that the name of the app?
No.
Oh my
No, this is
God.
what people say: out with the old order and in with the new. Anyone who questions this new orthodoxy will, of course, be denounced as not promoting a diverse workspace, or worse, racist.
Now, did you feel that cold bit of blood? Did you feel that chill run up your spine? Do you have goosebumps? Hair on the back of your neck go up? You feel there might be a demon in the room? There it is. There it is, all in front of you. That's the mantra. We've seen it. You've seen the little clips. Remember white people? Remember straight people? Yeah. There's the agenda. Now, I guess I don't have to point out that if someone was saying male and black is whack, right? There it is. By all means, please. I don't know what else to say about this except what the fuck. This cannot be allowed to stand. We need to all be speaking about this. This is racism and prejudice, pure and simple. I don't even know how to, I don't even know how to make it funny or entertaining, because it's neither now at this point. It's laughable only because if I'm not laughing, I'm so outraged I probably couldn't think or speak. Just imagine if we were saying that about any other color or gender. Male and pale is stale. Yeah. And that's the answer. Everything he just said is the answer to why all of this sucks. And the people that are excusing it, you're the worst ones. You're the worst ones. You're the ones that Gina Carano tried to warn us about. You're the ones that Gina tried to warn us about, that you turned on your fellow man. You're the ones that when we pointed out, you call us racist. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. I hope everyone right now, go to Gary's channel, subscribe, go to Chris, go to Film Threat, go to their website. We need eyes, ears. The mainstream news, if it ever still exists, needs to be covering this so that all the normal people that think that we're reactionaries and that we're making it up and we're imaginary, well, here it is. Here it is right in front of you and ugly. Please, if you enjoyed this, if you found this useful, like, share, and subscribe. If you've already done that, thank you. And if you're going to do that, thank you. We will see you on the next one.